President Trump's goal to cut waste and spending led to his pick of Elon Musk to head the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE. But has he given Musk too much power? Our panel will explore Musk and the president's latest moves. Joining us now are Bart Marcois, former U.S. diplomat, former chief operating officer at the Department of Energy, international expert on national security, and Peter C. Earle, Ph.D., senior economist at the American Institute for Economic Research. Thank you both for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
So this week, we saw the head of DOGE, Elon Musk, and the president take steps to shut down USAID offices. But a judge on Friday paused Trump's order to put thousands of workers on administrative leave. So, Bart, I'm going to start with you. Before we get down to the specifics, I want to start with this. Does USAID have a spending problem?
Yes, that's an understatement. USAID has always had a spending problem. When I was a Foreign Service officer, we always could tell the USAID homes because they all had swimming pools. The officers, they'd go to these dirt poor countries, and they were there. They're supposedly to alleviate poverty, but they had household staffs of 3 to 5 people. They lived like kings. They had swimming pools. They had great big villas, and that was tiny compared to the money they were spending on contractors. Now, fast forward 30 years, and look at today's AID. That was back. I'm describing it back when the foreign aid budget was $14 billion a year. Now it's over $50 billion a year. And we're finding out that most of this spending is being done for political purposes inside the United States, or to influence news coverage and to stop free speech around the world, all being done to politicize the environment, to change the political environment in which we live. It's a global scandal, and we find out that Chelsea Clinton has gotten, I forget the number, how many, $72 million or 17, and her net worth is 72 million. It's a shocking amount of money that the Clinton family has gotten. We'll see more of this coming. The Pritzker family, the billionaires, have gotten tens of millions of dollars from AID. This taxpayer money supposedly to alleviate poverty. Why is it going to the Clintons and the Pritzkers?
Well, Peter, do you think this is a global scandal that's going on here? Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, you could be confused or you could be forgiven for saying that it almost looks like USAID was doing things that the CIA or the NSA didn't want to be caught doing, giving money to domestic media sources and everything like that. So yeah, it's a huge scandal. And the thing is that, the great thing about this is that you have these people in Congress coming forward defending this, and they've got to, if they don't have any internal morals or compass at all, they've got to be embarrassed, because the things that they are defending, giving $6 million to Egypt for tourism in Cairo, giving $8 million to Sri Lankan journalists to teach them to create gender unbiased media, something like that. I mean, there's no way you can twist the purposes of these sorts of programs to make them seem in any way good for U.S. taxpayers. It's hugely embarrassing. It should be embarrassing. And I think, frankly, it's the genius of Musk that he went after this first. I mean, going after waste in the U.S. government is a pretty target-rich environment. You could have gone after the Pentagon, Amtrak, U.S. Postal Service, but to go after USAID first shows exactly, it really sets the stage for people wanting more cuts elsewhere. I think it was a great first move.
Well, speaking of move, let's continue to talk about USAID. So now we saw Democrats pushing back against the shutdown. So let's take a look at this clip.
Elon Musk, you may have illegally seized power over the financial payment systems of the United States Department of Treasury, but you don't control the money of the American people. The United States Congress does that.
So Raskin's right. Congress does have the power of the purse, but President Trump and Elon Musk are saying that the funding is being abused, as you all talked about earlier. So if Congress is not accountable to the American people and funding is being stolen or misappropriated, Peter, does the president have a responsibility or the power to take action?
Well, certainly courts are going to decide that in the next couple of months, because there are already big challenges to what DOGE and what Elon Musk are doing. But I have to say, it's not in any way unprecedented for presidents to appoint advisors with special access. I mean, several presidents have had, or many really have had advisors who wielded extraordinary influence behind the scenes. There's Colonel House under President Woodrow Wilson. There was Harry Hopkins under FDR and many others. So it's not at all unprecedented for there to be an advisor to the president who wields a lot of power. And ultimately, my view is that even if, courts decide that it's outside of the ability of Musk and DOGE to cut these programs or do anything like that, I think exposing it has created a tremendous opportunity for people to see what's actually going on with their tax money. And there's a lot of value in just putting all that out there for the American public to see.
Well, Bart, the president does seem to be taking matters into his own hands. So is there law on his side for him to be making these moves?
Absolutely. Every power that the administration has, that the executive branch has, is vested in the president of the United States. That is constitutional. That's what the Constitution says. It doesn't say anything about the Secretary of Labor or of Housing and Urban Development. It says the President of the United States, and the president will appoint such officers as he deems fit to carry out this mission. And Peter's right. There's long precedent for this, for having an outside advisor. And the real difference with President Trump and Elon Musk is that we all knew that during the campaign. President Trump announced this as a platform plank while he was running, and he held hands with Elon Musk, holding their hands up together on the stage, saying, "I'm going to put Elon Musk in charge of eliminating government waste." This is exactly what we voted for. It's exactly what won 312 electoral college votes. This is what we're trying to do. And Elon Musk is stepping into an office that was actually ironically created by Barack Obama, of outside technical advisors that Obama brought in just to fix the broken Obamacare computer system. And they never went away, and they were supposedly non-political technical geniuses, but they came in and they completely politicized the entire federal government for really 12 years, all the way through the second Obama term, all the way through Trump's term, and all the way through Joe Biden's term, working out of the White House. Even during the Trump White House, they were undermining Trump's agenda and carrying out far left political agenda items. And that's the bureaucratic space that DOGE now occupies.
Well, recently, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said at a press conference in Costa Rica that in some cases with USAID, only about 13% of the money was actually reaching the recipient. So, Peter, do you expect to see more of the Democratic Party to at some point support the president on this issue?
Absolutely not. I think it's so partisan that even when they have egg on their faces and they look ridiculous defending the use of some of this money, they're going to go down with the ship. I mean, we've developed this hyper partisan environment where you have people who are willing to oppose things that the president is doing or things that the Republicans are doing, whether or not they make any sense. They're just reflexively pushing against them. So no, I think that there's virtually nothing, or maybe only a handful of Democrats who would oppose or who would come to the side of the president on this issue, just because we have this environment where everything is so partisan that you can't logic and sense doesn't squeeze in anywhere.
Well, Bart, we know that the majority of the people that voted for Trump voted for him to make these changes, and that also includes some Democrats. So do you think that the Democratic Party will at some point come together and try to work with Republicans on these issues?
I think they're going to be forced to. I think maybe Senator Fetterman may come over. He's certainly been unpredictable. He's shown a tendency to be a maverick and to have some kind of common sense. He might come over. I think the midterms will sweep a lot of Democrats out of office. These things are immensely popular with the American people. The approval of Americans of these actions in Trump's first 2 weeks is over 80%. Over 67% of Democrat voters are approving what Trump is doing and approving this. It was so smart to go after USAID first, because that's operated essentially as a slush fund for the Democrats for going on nearly 30 years now, and exposing that every one of these Democrats that are standing up criticizing the cut are being shown one at a time to have benefited somehow financially or politically from this AID spending. And as you said, it was supposed to go to poor people overseas. And I think Rubio was wrong. I think it's less than half. I think it's about 6% that actually shows up as rice on a plate in a poor country. Most of it goes to contractors, to NGOs here, and to AID officers overseas. It doesn't go to the poor people. And I think we're going to have a much larger impact on world hunger with the 287 employees that are left just administering food aid. And they're also administering AIDS medical treatment. Those two things have been preserved in this order. But I think the Democrats, they have a 31% approval rating nationwide. That's going to drop, and they're going to be forced to come over if they want to keep their seats and support something about this.
Well, several groups are already challenging Musk and DOGE's authority in the courts, and we'll see if they can stop them. Bart Marcois, former U.S. diplomat, and Peter C. Earle, senior economist at the American Institute for Economic Research. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.